Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you the easiest quiche recipe ever. It's going to be buttery, flaky, and filled with a delicious filling. Before we continue, make sure to hit that subscription button and the bell button next to it if you haven't done so already. Now let's get to the recipe. So the first thing I am going to show you is how I do my pie crust. This is really simple as there is just 3 ingredients. We have about 1 cup of flour. I have about 150 grams of butter, which I will get out of the fridge right now because it needs to be ice cold. So we don't want to get the butter out until right before we want to put it into the bowl. As you can see, I'm just pinching the butter and the flour together so we get little crumbs. I'm gonna put 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of water. I'm gonna start with that and just get this dough together. You probably noticed that I haven't salted this dough, and the reason is because I'm using salted butter. If you're using unsalted butter, then I suggest about a half to a whole teaspoon of salt. You'll need that in your batter or dough. And if you want to make a sweet pie, like a fruit pie instead of a quiche, then you can use the same recipe, but just add sugar. I can include that in the description below. But basically that's it. This is how easy it is to make a pie crust. So I highly recommend making your own instead of buying the pre-made ones from the supermarket, because A, this will taste so much better, and B, those pre-made pie crusts have so many other unnecessary ingredients that aren't good for you. Putting some flour here so our dough doesn't stick. I have a rolling pin here. I'm just gonna put some flour on it so it doesn't stick too much. And now it's all about trying to get it as round as possible. And also, don't worry about getting this perfect. I'm not trying to get this perfect. I kind of like it when quiches and pies are rustic. And one thing I saw on actually Jamie Oliver's video when he was making quiche was that even if it breaks, you can just patch it up in the pan. Don't have to worry because it's all gonna come together anyway. There we go. Okay, and I'm just gonna get it in there, and as I said, I'm just gonna do this as like Jamie Oliver does. Pretty rustic, and then all you need to do is just puzzle in the parts that are breaking. It's all gonna come together once it's cooking in the oven. Right now, I'm going to leave the edges as they are. I'd rather have this excess dough around the pie because it's gonna come down a little bit, it's gonna melt in. So whatever that's excess, you can either let it be, make it look rustic, or you can just cut it off after cooking. But right now, I'm just gonna prickle the pie with a fork. This is going to help the pie cook evenly without getting bubbles. Now this pie is going to go into the refrigerator and cool down for about 30 minutes. And now it's time for the filling. I'm so excited about this part. It's super easy, it's delicious. It is a French style creamy chicken filling. Now, if you don't like chicken or don't eat meat, of course you can make a vegetarian version of this. I have done this with just vegetables. I've done it with vegetables and feta cheese. I've made it with ground beef. So you can really reinvent this recipe however you want. If you do want some tips on other types of fillings, please let me know down in the comment section. So we're gonna start with chopping a whole onion. Whoa, my eyes are watering. What we're gonna do now is chop up some mushrooms. I'm using Cremini mushroom and oyster mushrooms for different flavors and different textures. So these I'm just going to pull apart. because they don't really need chopping. We want some different textures in the pie. So this mushroom, it smells so earthy. You know, chicken can be a little bland sometimes if you don't season it well. And the mushroom just adds an extra layer of flavor. On a clean cutting board, I'm gonna chop up the chicken tenders. Before I do that, I'm going to, well, one, flavor the cutting board with some tarragon. Wow, that smells so great just chopping it. I'm not gonna clean this cutting board because I feel like the tarragon gives the cutting board so much flavor. So as I'm chopping up these chickens into little bites, you're gonna soak up all those aromas and oils from the herb. Okay, we're gonna start with some olive oil and then season with salt and pepper. Add the onion. Oh, cool. So as that is cooking, I need to put in the pie crust into the preheated oven. And that's going to cook for about 15 minutes. Give that a good mix. Some sun-dried tomatoes for contrast and flavors. Now this next step is optional. I'm pouring in about a tablespoon of white wine, but you can easily skip this part. A little bit of butter, about 1 tablespoon, or teaspoon. Just a little drizzle of heavy cream. Get the pre-cooked pie out now. So we got the crust pre-baked, we have the filling all cooked. Now we just need to make the custard, which again is super easy. All you need are 3 eggs. And then we're gonna whisk in about a cup of heavy cream. In with the Gruyere cheese. Oh, this cheese is so delicious, especially when it gets melted in sandwiches or quiches. Season with pepper, some granulated garlic, one more of that thyme. Now we're just going to assemble this quiche. So what I do is I put in the filling in the pre-baked crust. There are different ways of making quiche. Usually you put in the filling, you mix it with the custard, but I find that there's nothing wrong with doing it this way either, especially with a filling like this. And now just in with the custard. And now, quite hastily, we'll put in the pie back into the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. The smell of melted cheese and buttery pie crust, oh my God. I'm salivating. I cannot wait to dig into this. Quiches are so great to make because they're so versatile. You can really put in anything into the filling, and they're great to bring to whatever gathering you are invited to. It's a great side dish. It's a great main dish. You can eat it hot or cold. You can even make a pie, freeze it, and then pop it in the oven when it's ready to serve. Really nice saltiness from the cheese. The sun-dried tomatoes have candied up in that pie. The crust is perfectly cooked, buttery, flaky. Such a good quiche. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down in the comments. And if you do try this recipe, please let me know how it turns out. If you're new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscription button and the bell button next to it so you don't miss a thing. Bye.